Okay, this was originally going to be a video about how bad the Windows 8 interface was at copying music files over between your phone and your computer, or vice versa. We're going to show the example of moving files from your computer to your phone. I was going to show you how to use the old way of opening up Windows Explorer on both different systems and dragging files over. We'll still cover at the end, but sadly I was mistaken that there's a functionality here within Windows Phone that is pretty amazing, as a matter of fact. So with that, let's look at this little icon that's on the desktop. It gets installed when you plug in your phone for the first time. You get to name your phone. And of course, after we've already skipped that, and here we are, we're called Old Guy Geek Phone, of course. So as you can see, it has the name of your phone, your type of phone, your phone number, which is blurred out here, and the percentage of your battery. And you have your pictures on your phone, your music on your phones. It has some other things in the store, on the web, find your phone feature and all that. But let's get back to we're going to talk about adding music and video, and the same procedures are used for music and the other. So as soon as you click on that, you may or may not see any files depending upon the status of your phone. If you click on files up here and you see add more, and the last time we were in here we were inside of an album, so that's why you see this, but you can click up here and you can say go up until you get to where you want to go to look at where your files are on your computer. And you just scroll down till you get to your music. Now here's all the ones that we've downloaded from Amazon over the last few years because we've been using the Amazon. We are looking at the new Xbox, which replaced Zune Xbox Music. But let's go ahead and look at some of these. So if I'm looking here at the individual one, I right click on it, I can't copy the entire directory. And that's what we thought was really bad about that. So instead we started to look around and we clicked on it and you notice at the bottom there's the file that we've selected. They started getting added. Right, so I want to do the whole album, so I say add, and you notice at the bottom they're all there. Okay, I say add again, and they're added, and it says one task in progress, and it is actually adding all those files to the phone. I've been doing that. Well, I thought that was terrible because you couldn't do directories that way. You can only do it one at a time, and you had to go back in there and do it this other way. So let's go back in and take a look at what happened during that time. So if we look on the phone itself, and we see all the albums that were already there, but we see there's an album now called Chick Corea. And we go in there's an album called Alive, and there's all the files that were transferred. So what does that mean? It looks like it did it exactly the way and actually created the album inside of the phone. Well, the one way to find that out is to go out to the Windows operating system. So let's go out to here. So let's go to the computer, open it up, there's our phone. We open that up, we look at the phone hard drive, and we look under music, and sure enough, if we look around, there it is. It's a file folder. Let's change the view so we see the details of that. So we're going to go over to the view button and say details, and there it is. What's really strange about it has no modified or created date, which I've never seen in any Windows system before, but there it is, Chick Corea's acoustic band. There's the Alive album. So, and sure enough, it was the same thing, created whenever, and there's the files, already there, created in the correct directory structure so that they're segregated they're not mixed in there, so if I selected them, they went into their exact right place. So, seeing that, decided to go back into the computer and through the Windows interface and see what else we could do. So we're back here and it's still in the Alive, still there, we were browsing that. So let's go back to the add music function yet again. Do the same exact thing we did before. We go up to files, click on add more, and we're going to go up to on our computer now. Okay, we're going to go browse the computer. There's all of our albums again. We'll take Bob James. We're going to go to this plain hooky album. We're going to select a couple random files there, three files. So we're going to go back up, and we're going to, you see they're selected down below. And now we're going to go over to Chicago, and we're going to select a couple albums there. Okay, we're going to add those to the list, which they're going to appear down at the bottom. Okay, you see there's files selected from 2 different albums, right? So we're going to click on add. Now you see there's another task in progress. And what's going on with that task? And it says, oh, adding files to your phone. So that's great. So let's copy the files over. So let's go back over here. Let's go back up. And look, there's 2 new directories. One called Bob James Playing Hooky, and the 3 files are in the correct place. If we look at Chicago, and there it created the album name, and those files are the correct place. So rather than dragging things, you can go in there and select individual ones and it'll put them in their correct directory structure. So there's no more need for multiple drag and drops. So now let's look at the old way of doing it. And some people may still want to use this. But what we've done is that we're open up two windows. The intention here is to drag files between the two systems. And you notice that the phone is just at the bottom of both windows because it's just another hard drive basically to the system. So all we have to do then is on one of the windows, we just have to select the phone itself and open it up. So let's do that. Let's go into the phone and we look on there. There's music. And there's some of the albums that are there. Okay, if we go over here and we go to the place we want to find our files at, in this particular case, it's in My Music, there's the same list of those downloads from Amazon. And we would normally go in here and grab a album, for example, and drag it over to the other side. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll grab a couple files here. And I say, let's say I want to grab a Boney James, or let's try a Devin Benoit this time. Now there's two different albums in here, and I mean I want both of them. So that's a little bit difficult compared to the other way. I can sit there and select a list of files or a directory structure that includes the person and get the files. But if I only want Poets and Angels, for example, this is Christmas music for Ottmar Liebert. So if I look over here and I say, well, how do I do that? Well, what I do sometimes is I would right click and say rename, and then do Control-C to copy the name over there so I don't misspell it. And I come over here and I simply go here and create a new folder, and then I come back over to it and I say rename there, and I paste in the buffer and say Ottmar Liebert. So I've created my artist folder. Now I can come back over here and drag just that album over. Now I could have dragged the entire directory structure over and then deleted the other album. It's an extra step. But that's where this has the other way has an advantage over it. So let's do another one. Let's go over here and we'll go find another album to copy. Okay, so it has multiple ones as well. So we'll come up here to the Jingle Jazz. Well, actually, this one only has one, so we can drag that again. We do the same thing. We can go to music. We could actually drag the Jingle Jazz over completely by itself, and then it would create the correct directory structure for us because there's only one album in there. So it'll create Jingle Jazz, and underneath that, the album name. So that's the difference between the Windows 8 way and the old Windows 7 way, or you can actually still use it on Windows 8, depending on how you want to do that.